Okay, very good morning to all, and this is Sonia sitting in front of you. Very warm welcome everyone on our channel Exampur English Medium. I hope my voice is completely audible, everyone, and the screen is completely visible. So today is very important day, specifically for the students who are appearing in the mains exam in September, and also very important session for those students who are thinking to appear for 2023 prelims exams and later on for the mains exam. So why I'm saying it is an important session, everyone? Okay. Let me check the voice once. The voice is audible or not. Okay, why I'm saying it is a very important session, because see, whenever you discuss about the broad concept of a history, it is somehow a very important part of the discussion, that what really we want to cover. Fine. And what we really want to cover means it is very difficult to choose that what exactly what really we needed. That in the market, if you start to search the books for specifically for history, not only the ancient, medieval, modern, or art and culture, I think you have a numerous of the options, several of the options in the market, and you can search as well कि भाई हमें ये भी पढ़ना है, ये भी पढ़ना है, ये भी पढ़ना है. But it is very important to decide that for which that how you people make yourself more specific for the sources, कि आप उसमें से क्या पढ़ना चाहते हैं और उसमें से आप क्या छोड़ना चाहते हैं. It is very important to choose. That's why I think whenever you people heard about the toppers interview, yes, my voice is completely audible, everyone. Okay, that's why I think numbers of the time, whenever we heard the interviews of the toppers, specifically who appeared in the UPSC, I think you heard numbers of the time that they always said that whenever we start, whenever we just thinking for the preparation for the UPSC, they always make their sources more limited, right? And how they always make their sources more limited, and how is it possible? It means when you start to make your sources not only limited, but the sources that you choose for your preparation, you have to be make sure that you have to be revise the things more and more time, right? That's why somewhere this is not only the concern for the toppers, but it is, I think, a very basic concern for any of the aspirants who are looking for the preparation, not only for the UPSC, but for specifically for those students as well. Those are preparing for the rest of other competitive exams. I think it's a very common scenario, right? So everyone, why I'm saying that the session is very important, today's session is very important, because in today's session I would like to cover the whole of the section of the ancient, the medieval, and the modern section. And specifically we will try to give the total overview, or we can say the glance of the art and architecture, that what we I think earlier in session, that the sessions that I already taken in my past lectures, I think I already giving the lecture on the art and architecture, and I think I already mentions, I think, numerous of the things about art and architecture, why art and architecture is important. But in today's session, why this session is completely special and specific, everyone? Definitely, art and architecture always playing a very vital role in Indian history. And art and architecture is not only the part that we are only, studying, or we are just only looking for the good approach, because we want to get know कि भाई कौन सा आर्ट किसने बनाया है, तो ताजमहल किसने बनाया, कुतुब मीनार किसने बनाया है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. See, art and culture is in itself a very vast learning concept. And whenever you start to learn about art and architecture, you will not only, get to know that why art and architecture is important, but also it is very important to get to know how the art and architecture is playing a vital role in the social, in the economic, in the culture, political, administrative, and specifically whenever you discuss about the the positivity, or we can say the जिसे हिंदी में कहते हैं कि राजा की ख्याति होना, the prosperity of the king, how can you elaborate the all of these things. So specifically for the, I think if from the ancient time, whenever we discuss about the art and architecture of Indus Valley civilization, whenever we discuss about the art and architecture of the modern period, whenever we discuss about the numbers of the inscriptions that we have, later on we have a stupas, and we have a Jain temples, we have rock cut temples, we have Ajanta, we have Ellora, we have a very much prosperity in the time of Rashtrakutas, we have in the Cholas time, the whole of the South Indian history where art and architecture is not only the part of the explanation, everyone, that part of prosperity, but also whenever we discuss about art and architecture, it is somehow the expansion of the economy, that how your economy is exactly working, right? For example, if I'm giving the example of a Chola Empire or the South Indian history, if I'm giving the example of a Vijayanagar, in the present time it is known as a Hampi, and it is also become the part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site now. So definitely everyone, it is not only important because we are just discussing art and architecture for the prosperity, कि भाई चीजें अच्छी लगेंगी, राजा महाराजा अच्छे लगेंगे, तो ऐसा नहीं है. Whenever you start to discuss about the prosperity of the king, and it is somehow defining with the help of art and architecture, right? And how it is defining the art and architecture, because art and architecture is not only the the rest of that, it is not only the definition of the religion, कि भाई अगर हमें बुद्धिज्म को या अगर हमें जैनिज्म को डिपिक्ट करना है, so that's why we started to found numerous of the stupas, numerous of the inscriptions specifically related with particular community or particular religion. ऐसा नहीं है. So that's why whenever you start to learn about art and architecture, it is somehow specifically related with your economic perspective. For example, if I'm giving already the example of a Vijayanagar, right? Vijayanagar is such a very good example, you can say that, everyone, which is completely correlating with the economic perspective, and temples are the part of the prosperity of the economy, right? How the economy is exactly working with the help of the art, with the help of the temple architecture, how the word like Anugraha and Anudana and Brahma Deva is exactly relating with the prosperity. Is just going to be flourished just because of the help of the temples architecture, with the just because of the rest of the features of the art and architecture. So definitely you can say that art and architecture in any of the time, either you are discussing about ancient time, either you discuss about medieval time, either you discuss about the modern time, the three of the phases that we have in a whole of the Indian history, we can say that art and architecture always playing not only playing a very vital and important role, but definitely art and architecture is somehow just defining the whole of the society, the perspective of the people, the foreign travelers. I think whenever I'm taking the name of Megasthenes, whenever I'm taking the name of the Hyun Sang, we have a numerous of the foreign travelers, that they are numbers of the time defining the different art and architecture. The Mughal era, the Islamic era, we can say the Sultanate era, this was somehow a very prosperous, I think, phase ki jitni zyada development art and architecture mein that we saw in the time phase of a Delhi Sultanate or the time phase of the Mughal era. I think usse pehle we don't have any particular evidences of the flourishness, or before that the king and the queens were not focused on the prosperity or the flourishness of the art and architecture. Except if I'm discussing about the South India, if I accept the South Indian history, I think in the whole of the medieval ages or in the whole of the ancient India, none of the king or none of the queen is showing a particular, we can say the focus or intensity to found, or we can say to establish the numerous of the statues, the monuments, and later on definitely these monuments and these statues is somehow not playing a very vital role in Indian history, but definitely they are not only the sources, we can say that, but definitely they are always helpful to representing the whole of the diversity of the India on the single platform, कि भाई पहले हमारे पास ये चीजें थी जिसकी बदौलत हम काम कर रहे थे और अब ये चीजें हैं. तो this is somehow I think the image of the Taj Mahal behind the screen, everyone, of my screen, you definitely you can you can see that whenever looking the monuments like Taj Mahal, क्योंकि काफी सारी चीजें हैं. If we have a numerous of the monuments we have actually in India, and whenever you looking the monuments like Hawa Mahal, now the Natarajan statue, we can say that you can also see on the screen, and we have a numerous of the art forms. Everyone, we have a Sanchi Stupa, the Buddhism, the Jainism. So you can surely see that the screen is somehow showing everyone definitely that the complete diversity of the whole of the India, that how the diversification of the India is adopting or observing not only that the foreign travelers, but the impact of the foreign travelers. They also observing the foreign invaders. The Indian diversity is also observing the numbers of the battles, the wars. We can say that the this is also full of observance. We can say that the acceptance of the feeling of a patriotism, the feeling of a nationalism, and this is not only the diversification. This is whole of the diversification, and we can say that the land of the people, where people are not only showing themselves or representing themselves as a good and art and architecture, but also they are definitely defining themselves as a part of the the interest, that how our ancestors how our ancestors were exactly performing their daily basis life, how they were performing their monuments, how they were performing and the this and that. So this is somehow informing, right? So this is the I think the whole sum of the introduction of Indian art and culture and art and architecture. And this is not only the performance of the art and architecture, everyone. This is the somehow representing the next level of India. That's why I think you learned and heard numbers of the times in the advertisement, the incredible India. So definitely art and architecture is not only the part of the representation, but definitely art and architecture is showing the incredibility. We can say that the India is such a very incredible India, Adbhut Bharat जिसे हम कहते हैं. And this is not only become incredible just because of culture and all these things, but also incredible because numerous of the people, the Muslim, the Hindu, the Jain, the Buddhist, I think we have a numerous of the people, we have a numerous of the community, we have a numerous of the languages, we have a numerous of the culture. They completely observed by the Indian land, and this is somehow the showing the speciality of the India's land, and showing or making India more incredible in front of the international level, or in front of the I think the in front of the any of the countries, which is separated, which is differentiated somehow in a very different perspective, right? So let's move ahead, everyone. Art and culture questions in UPSC prelims 2022. You can see that the weightage whenever we discuss about it is very important to discuss about the syllabus, everyone. इंडियन आर्ट एंड कल्चर में आपको क्या क्या पढ़ना इंपॉर्टेंट है एज पर द मेंस पर्सपेक्टिव और एज पर द प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव, एवरीवन. So you cannot forget about the architecture, everyone. Architecture, you can say the ancient architecture, the medieval architecture, and the both we can say that. And modern we can say that the statues. You can say that because modern era so basically is based on your print media, the newspapers and everything. So this is somehow defining the architecture in a very different perspective. Dance form, we can say that the oldest dance form. The music, we can say that the paintings, specifically on the Mughals era, the paintings which is completely made by the Jahangir and Humayun and the Akbar. Literature definitely is a part of our interest, and I think numbers of the question UPSC will make on the literature, on sometimes on the paintings as well. Indian philosophy, whenever you discussing about the Darshan Shastra, the philosophers, we can say that for example, if I'm going to take the name of a Charak Sahita, this is somehow very philosophical. We have a numerous of the, we can say that the Upanishads, we have Varnakya, we have a Samhita as well. Bhakti movement, Sufi movement. Bhakti movement and Sufi movement is not only the part of somewhere is the art and culture, but whenever we're discussing about the different sect about Bhaktism and Sufism, these sects are representing themselves as a diversity of the religion. कि हमें पहली बार पता चला कि भाई religion का एक next definition भी है. And how is it possible कि religion doesn't mean that we are just worshipping the god, the worshipping the statues. Bhaktism and Sufism is somehow defining religion as a different perspective by showing that religion is somehow is defining the equality, the humanity, the humanism, and we can say that the prosperity and the devotion, and not only with the with the help of Yagvediyas, but definitely you can show your devotion in sitting in the posture. You can show your devotion with your music. So that's why we have a numerous of the example. We cannot forget the example like Meera. We cannot forget about the name like Dhanna. So we have a numerous of the examples, and which is very important to explain it, which is very important to explain that why these ladies are important. And definitely in the Sufism, we cannot forget about the name of Chishti Silsilas. We have a Suhrawardi Silsila. We have a Ahmadiyya Silsilas. We have numerous of the Silsilas. Where somewhere they are defining the Islamic religion, and they are somewhere defining the Hindus religion in a very different perspective, right? So this is somehow a very important part of discussion in art, Indian art and culture, and art and architecture, which I'm going to represent later on everyone on the next slides. And you can see a very beautiful picture that really I really like this picture, specifically the sculptures like Buddhism. Now the sculptures like not only Buddhism, but definitely the representation and the religious philosophy of the Buddhism, right? So numerous of the students asked us that how we can prepare for art and architecture, right? The Indian architecture for UPSC prelims, for prelims and for the mains. And why they ask this question? This is a very common question actually. एंड मुझे लगता है कि जब तक हम किसी चीज को क्वालिफाई नहीं कर लेते, स्टिल वी आर आस्किंग द सेम क्वेश्चंस कि इसको कैसे करना है, हाउ कैन वी इम्प्रूव आवरसेल्फ. So, to preparing in the UPSC or to attempting the paper like UPSC is somehow, the participation of looking for the participation for more over 18 or 19 months, the engagement that we can say that where the learning phase, where we are looking for a learning phase, and the learning phase not only the particular subject. When we started to learn everything, when we started to acknowledge everything, when we will start to get know everything, what is going on international level, what is going on national level, art and architecture में क्या चल रहा है, economy, how the economy is working actually, how the historical parameters are working actually, how the language is playing an important role, how the current affairs, the world affairs. I think the philosophy, we can say that we must to know everything, right? So this is such a very important, and this is such a very vast question, and I don't think so that we are going to giving any defining answer of the question that how we can prepare, because in the phase of the preparation, everyone, we can only suggest the students and the candidates that you can choose this and that way, but we cannot ensure that while suggesting and while the help of the by the helper that कि आपको यहाँ चलना है, then you decided कि अब तो मैं यहीं पर चलूंगा. It's very difficult to make yourself consistent. It's very difficult to make yourself to be very specific. This is the sources and this is the way. So that's why I choose the way. I'll just go ahead and just read out all the sources and just going to appear in the paper. This is somehow a very difficult task, because we all the people have a human nature that we are just going to be distracted with our failure, with the with our success. Sometimes in the whole races we will feel कि भाई समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, give up कर देते हैं, because this is all about the journey of moreover the 18 or 19 months, right? So 18 and 19 months में it is very important to make yourself how you can yourself make yourself more ensure कि आपको यहाँ appear होना है और यहाँ नहीं होना है. So this is such a very vast question, but as per your satisfaction, everyone, that I already told you that we cannot defining the specific question that how can we prepare, right? एक टॉपर ने अपने strategies को बताया कि भाई he started to working for more over 10 hours. So what we are doing actually, we started to work for more than 10 hours, right? So UPSC is not demanding for your table and chair, but definitely UPSC is demanding for your consistency. That if you are sitting on the table and chair, if you start to working, start to learn something for spending your time over 2 or 3 hours, so definitely the time that you spend on the table and chair is definitely playing a very crucial or very important role in your life. कि 3-4 घंटे में कुछ तो ऐसा आपने सीखा है जो इससे पहले आपको नहीं पता था, right? So this is UPSC is demanding is not only your learning capability but your consistency is very important in the whole journey, which is going to be held for more over 17 or sometimes 18 months and sometimes for 3 year or 4 years. So to be more specific, to be more consistent, it is such a very important task for UPSC, which is demanded by the aspirants, right? Hello Anu, good morning. Now, so everyone, first of all, it is very important to discuss about the approach, that how you can choose your approach while studying art and architecture. So definitely it is very important to discuss about the art and culture. The scope of a history, the history cannot limit the scope of history. So what you want to, when you start to learning the whole of the syllabus, everyone, the syllabus is end up in a one line: the Indian history and the national movement, right, or art and architecture. But whenever we're looking the whole of the subjects of the history, in the history, ancient, we have a medieval, we have a modern, we have a South Indian history, we have already art and architecture, we have a the religion, we have a society, we have a comparison with the world history, we have numerous of the things. So it is very important to creating a very broad concept of understanding with the subject like history. And I feel not only the subject like history, any of the subject you are looking for, geography, we can see the polity, the economy, definitely it is very important to show the broad concept of any of the subject, the way you are correlating yourself, the way you are showing the interlinkage with the subject, the way you are just representing, because you are just teaching the subject or just taking the subject as an optional or for your mains perspective. But definitely it is very important to show yourself and make yourself more broad with the interdisciplinary approach. So these are somehow very important parts of the discussion, we can say that, while choosing the subject, or while how the interdisciplinary approach is working, actually it is very important part of our discussion. Right, you can see that, everyone. Okay, what is happening there? Ancient India, it is a very important. Ancient India, we can say that we have already a medieval India, right? We have a modern India. We have a art and architecture, everyone. Right? We have a religion, we have a sculptures, we have a numerous of the things, we have a national movement. So it is very important to make yourself more specific. And how you can yourself make more specific? When you started to judge all the previous year questions paper, right? How the previous year question paper are exactly working. It is somehow showing the glance of everything. Interdisciplinary approach means when you are looking for the dependency on the each other. If I'm asking the question to you people, that how is it that do you think that you people can survive without society? Do you think so? The people who join me in the chat box, I am just looking for the answer. I'm just looking for the kind attention, everyone. Do you people are completely survive without society? Is it possible or not? As per my own opinion, because I'm also a human being, so definitely my opinion is definitely I can say a big no, because I cannot survive without the without society, right? And if I cannot survive without society, definitely I cannot survive without economy. I cannot survive without political administrative system, and I cannot survive with roti kapda makan, the basic needs of the human nature. So this is somehow a very important aspects, everyone, while attending or while doing all these things, right? So this is not only the important part of the discussion. So what is interdisciplinary approach? See, interdisciplinary approach is exactly working when you started to correlating everything, that how the correlation is exactly working. See, if I'm giving the example of the interlinked, we can see that interdisciplinary approach means when the things are completely correlating with each other, right? For example, if I'm looking for the human nature, that we have the people of India, if looking, we are a human being, so we have some needs. If we're looking in the society, definitely we're looking for the society because we really want to survive in the society. We are needy of the neighbors. We are looking for the people from where we can definitely, feel ourselves more connected. Economic history, surely, when I already mentioning about roti, kapda, makan, the basic needs, the food, shelter, and clothes. I think these are not only the basic needs. Whenever your basic needs is going to be fulfilled, so surely, as the human nature, we started to thinking for the investment. कि अब 100 रुपए हैं तो अब 200 रुपए आ रहे हैं तो अब हमें expand करना चाहिए. But how the expansion is going to be held very positively when your social connectivity and the social acknowledgement is going to be working in a very broad aspects, right? And whenever we discuss about religion, why you are we the especially we the human being are looking for the religious perspective. Why religion doesn't mean that you always standing in the temples, that you always looking yourself in the gurdwara, in the mosque. Religion is somehow defining ourselves on the next level. When we started to learn our duties, कि हमारी अपनी duties क्या है, how we can take the responsibility, right? And culture, definitely, if you're living in the society, we are looking for the basic needs of roti, kapda, makan. If you're looking for the responsibility and the karmas of the human being, right? So definitely we are looking for our festival, our traditions, which we really want to be make alive. And how it is possible to make alive? When you start to celebrating the things, when the people started to get to know कि भाई हाँ इस कम्युनिटी का अपना ये जो है, ये चीजें जो है सेलिब्रेट की जाती है या मानी जाती हैं. And administrative and the political history, everyone, it is somehow just giving you the systemization. कि जो एक शब्द हम यूज करते हैं ना, व्यवस्था हिंदी में, and the word we are using the system or systemization. So definitely we are looking the systemization. We have a society, we have an economy, we have a religion, we have a culture, we have a vast society, we have a very vast population as well. So how you can survive, everyone? How you can survive? You are looking for the controller. You are looking for the person who can control you, who can guide you. And definitely whenever you are looking for the scarcity, कि भाई रोटी कपड़ा मकान की पूर्ति नहीं हो रही, so who is going to be giving or providing you the availability, the systemization? Then we have a political system where we can just representing ourselves, जहां पर हम अपनी बातों को रख सके. When we start to discussing our rights, right? कि भाई वोट देना है तो this is our right and you cannot stop us. Where you are defining yourself as a citizen of India, right? And where you can just you not only judge yourself but definitely you can representing yourself as a judge. कि जो भी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन सोसाइटी में चल रही है, इज द इम्प्लीमेंटेशंस आर अप टू द मार्क और नॉट, right? The religious perspective and the flexibility of the mindset of the people in the religion perspective is completely up to the mark or not. So this is somehow providing the systemization in the administrative or in the political history. It is somehow not only the we can say the major part of any of the society. कि सब कुछ हमारे पास है. If we don't have any systemization, ये बिल्कुल वैसा ही है. If you really want to preparing for the UPSC examinations, that you have a sources, you have a timetable, you have a table and chair, you have a money, you have a support, you have everything. But from as the part of the candidate or as the part of the aspirants of the UPSC, if you're not showing your consistency, if you're not showing your devotion, if you're not showing your internal motivation, if you're not going to motivate yourself on everyday basis, so definitely the sources that we have, the society we have, the support we have, the table chair we have, I think the all are is going to be in vain, or all are is going to be in waste, right? So this is it's such how a very important part of the discussion, that how the systemization is working actually. And understand the recent trends of the UPSC, everyone. This is, I think, this is the question of the maximum of the students that they ask number of the time, that how we can understand the subject like UPSC, because really there is no doubt that the subject like UPSC is not only the vast subject, but it is आई थिंक इट्स लाइक अ सी कि वो समुंदर है, खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा, जितना आप पढ़ सकते हो वो कम पड़ता जा रहा है. दैट यू रेड अबाउट द करंट अफेयर्स, you done your geography, history, polity, world history, you done everything, philosophy, language, right? You done everything, but what is the next? अभी क्या रह गया पढ़ना? So the transparency that you can definitely get to know with the help of the previous year papers, that the UPSC is never by repeating the question. See, this is very much clear to everyone. But definitely every examinatory body have its own standardization, its own norms and condition. So how you can fulfill your norms and condition, how you can get to know that कि भाई ये सारी चीजें जो हैं इसके हिसाब से UPSC is just set up as such a kind of standardization where we are we exactly, if you are looking for the crack the examination, so that we are really appropriate person, that we are fulfilling the standardization of the UPSC or not. It is somehow the part of a parameter judgment कि इस पैरामीटर तक पहुंचना है तो कितना हम पहुंच पा रहे हैं. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू डिसाइड एवरीवन, राइट? Fine. And current affairs and history relation, it is very important, the correlation, the interdisciplinary approach that I already mentioning everyone, that society cannot survive without economy, economy without religion, religion without culture, administration, polity. These are not only the basic part of any of the integral subject, but definitely if you are expressing your opinion, if you are expressing any of the subject, if you are not going to mention the dimension of the things, I think it is somehow showing the failure कि हमें पता तो सब कुछ है but we don't know how to apply. But that's why these dimensions are showing you the implementation, that the way you are implementing the things, कि आपको सब चीज के बारे में बताना है, that you have to mention about the society, the economy, the religion, right? And the culture, the administration, the polity, that you have to express everything, everyone. So this is somehow a very important part of the discussion, right? Now, okay, just a minute. I think I already added numbers of the slides, so okay, it will take time for the uploading. Okay, before going to start the session, everyone, I would like to mention about the Exampur preparation app. You can see that, everyone, this is the Exampur Sarkari Naukri app. So it is very important that you people have to install the app first of all. So you just go on the Play Store, just write down the Exampur Sarkari Naukri preparation app, and you can register yourself. After installation, you can definitely register yourself with your phone number and with your email ID. And you can register in the home section in which exam that you're preparing. And definitely Exampur is just taking the initiative for the students, that the students those are looking for the examination preparation specifically for the government examination. So Exampur is just taking the initiative for the students, those are looking for the systemization that we are earlier discussing, that हमारे पास सब कुछ है but systemization नहीं है हमारे पास, right? And I think we have a numerous of the I think several of the things that Exampur app is giving you, everyone. With this app, definitely you cannot only looking for the YouTube channels, but also you have to be appear in the paid batches, which are completely introduced in a very minimum prices. Free subjects, we have a quiz, we have a report card. This is very important, everyone, that आपके पास सब कुछ है and you know just studying, but if you are not evaluating yourself that where you stand actually, this is somehow a very important part of the discussion, and we can see the important task as well. All exams previous year PDFs with solution. So definitely after the live session and after the application classes, you will get the PDF. You can make your short notes as well. You can connect and just connected with the faculties. You can ask your doubts with us surely, and you can connect with our calling team. You can ask your question if you are completely interested to buy any of the course which is completely beneficial for further aspects, future aspects. So definitely you can go ahead with this app. This app is very very important, very playing crucial role in your life, everyone, right? Now, Now, I think a very important slide, everyone, on the screen, that you can see that how the art and culture is working actually. How the art and culture is exactly working actually. See, whenever you look in the world like art and culture, everyone, it is very important to know about the expressive culture, right? Expressive culture means when the culture is expressed everything. Their needs, we can say the diversity, we can say the culture, we can say the society, the social aspects, the social status, right? Everything is expressed by the art and culture. Fine. And the behaviors and the beliefs related to the art because layer and play. Behavior, it means somehow is just your behavior, the way you express the things, right? And the beliefs, that we have a numerous of the beliefs, we have several of the beliefs, we have a religious beliefs, it's our own opinions, it is also our beliefs. The application of the imagination, the application of the imagination and the skill and the style of a matter movement and sound that goes beyond what is purely practical. So art and architecture and art and culture is somehow defining as the practicality कि भाई आप practical कितना ज़्यादा है. If I'm just looking for the making for any monument A B C D, definitely I'm first of all it is very important of the imagination. For example, if I'm giving the example like a Mona Lisa, right? And art is a human universal that can be expressed through a variety of mediums, including verbal art and the storytelling, painting, sculpture, weaving, basketry, architecture, interior design, landscaping, gardens, costume designing, body adornment, hairstyles, and tattooing, etc., is a part of art and culture. Where art and culture is not, express yourself because you are just looking for the expressive behavior and anything, but definitely whenever we're looking of any of the art and culture, it is somehow expressing the human universal nature, the behavior, we can say that, the belief, we can say that, the imagination, we can say that, the skill, we can say that, and the techniques and the anything, the ideas, anything which is completely representing in your art form, in your cultural form, in your monuments, in your sculptures, in your painting. So this is somehow very important part of the acknowledgement that art and culture how it's completely relating or somehow representing the whole sum of the behavior of the human beings, right? Now, Indian culture you have, this is also completely correlating everyone, correlating with again the human behavior, right? The human behavior. And the human behavior, what? The skills, we not the first, the skills we can say that, the tools we can say that, the techniques we say that, the behavior, the ideas we can say that. So we have a numerous of the examples, everyone. And with the Indian culture, religion is a part of a culture again, and this is somehow Mahayana, Buddhism, Hinduism, because more personal. Literature and art, everyone. How the literature and art representing our Indian culture. So if you are looking the Kalidas wrote Shakuntala, and we have a Malvika Agnimitra. So what Kalidas is exactly did in the literature. Kalidas not only representing the story, the telling method, the characters in the Agnimitra or the Shakuntalam, but definitely it is somehow representation of the society, right? Literature is somehow representation of the society, that how the society is exactly reacting, everyone, right? How the society is exactly reacting. that how the Buddhism and the sculpture of the Kalidas wrought the Shakuntala and how the literature is exactly working. When we are looking for the representation, everyone, that how the representation is exactly working. Science and math is decimal system. We can say the medical guides, trade. We can say that the profit from the silk trade routes with the Roman, African, Southeast Asian, and Arabic and China. So this is somehow very prominent examples. Now, history of art. The history of art usually refer to the history of the visual arts, right? Visual arts and such a painting, sculpture, and the architecture. The term also encompass the theory of the visual arts, the performing art. We can say the literary arts also, and definitely what is representing the history of art when we are completely representing your ideas, the techniques, we can say that, right? So this is such a very important part of the interest, that how art the art is exactly working. The explanation of the paintings. Painting is what? It is expression. It is somehow the expression, right? Architecture is somehow representing your importance, that agar Taj Mahal banaya gaya hai, to definitely there is the importance behind it, right? So this is a very important part of the discussion. You can say that, everyone, the history of art also. The story of art just stretch the back of the earliest forms of the visual expression by the human beings, right? Visual arts, for example, जो हमने देखा वो हमने बना दिया. For example, if I'm taking the name of a dog, right? If I'm taking the name of a ox, so definitely हमने वो चीजें देखी हैं. That's why we are easily can create a mindset कि हाँ ox और cow और जो आपका dog है ऐसा दिखता है. So what is about the art? It is somehow the visualization, the imagination, we can say that, the ideas, we can say that, right? And the monuments, the mural glorification, wealthy Renaissance. Renaissance was the period, everyone. ऐसा नहीं था कि from the beginning of the time phase that we don't have any evidences of the art and culture. Definitely we have a numerous of the representation of art and culture. We cannot forget the name of Bhimbedka from MP. We cannot forget about the cave paintings. But definitely, whenever we looking the the enhancement or upgradation in the art, definitely the period was considered as a Renaissance period. The period was considered as a Renaissance period, and Stone Age cave painting that was likely never ever viewed as the art by its makers. Historians examine work of art from many different angles: the historical, the cultural context, being artistic period style, the manipulation of the material, subject matter. They all are hidden meanings. If we are making any sculpture, the material that we are using, the imagination that we are using, the tools, the skills that we are using, the techniques that we are using, this is some of the representation of the art, everyone, that how the representation of the art is exactly working. And one more thing, whenever we discuss about art and culture and art and architecture, paintings, we can say that, the cave painting, we can say that. So definitely iconography and iconology. Iconography is definitely relating with what? The descriptive study of an image. The descriptive, and what is descriptive study of meaning? Where it describes them from the representation, relating them to the textual sources. For example, if I am giving the example of a Rig Veda, if I am giving the example of a Charak Samhita, and what about iconology, everyone? It is graphy. Graphy means what? When we have a graphics. कि आपने जो कुछ देखा उसके ग्राफिक्स दिमाग में आ गई, अब उसको आपने डिस्क्राइब कर दिया. And what about iconology, everyone? Iconology is basically a study of a branch. Study of a branch of what? The art and the history, right? It puts the study of objects, context, and product of the particular process of a thought. The author of predomination of in the history. Whenever looking for the, you will have a cave paintings, right? We have a rock cut paintings, right? We have a sculptures, we have a statues, right? So we have a numerous of the branches. Why we have a numerous of branches? For example, giving the clue that कि भाई ये हमारी cave painting है, तो definitely the way you searching the cave painting, the way you imagine the cave painting, I think you cannot imagine, we cannot search the rest of the Sanchi Stupa in a very similar basis. Surely it is very important to make the differentiation, that how we can make the differentiation in both of the subjects and both of the branches. We have a cave painting, we have mineral painting, we have a sculpture, we have a temples, we have a mosque, we have a statues, we have artifacts as well. So we have a numbers of the branches. That's why this number of the branch is known as the iconology, where we have an icon, but we have a consistency. कि हम जानते जा रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है कि that we have a break, कि भाई अब सांची स्तूप के बारे में, उस ब्रांच के बारे में ये पता चल गया, so further we do not want to be get for the search, right? हम आगे नहीं जाना चाहते further search करने के लिए, but definitely iconography is somehow the description, that if I'm giving the definition of the branch of a rock cut temple, so definitely iconography is describing that what is rock cut paintings and rock cut temples, exactly what they are, right? So this is somehow is showing that the excavation, the practical evidences that we can say that, and this is the iconography which is showing what? This is showing the description. This is mentioning about the description, everyone, right? That we have a really good idea. We are representing anything with our understanding, with our techniques, with our own, self-understanding. Art and communication, everyone, definitely. You cannot forget, you cannot, disconnected the communication without art. Communication means what? When you started to, use your senses. कि मैं जो बोल रही हूँ वो मेरा communication, मैं किससे बोल रही हूँ, मेरे साथ कोई है. This is somehow that when the two people discussing anything, when the two people communicating anything, or this is completely a verbal discussion. This is sometimes it's not verbal discussion as well. So what is happening there? This is all about the discussion of the two people, and communication is what? And communication kya? This is the way that we are speak, the way we are representing ourselves, the way we are representing our thoughts, right? So what is communication is actually meaning? The meaning of communication. Communication is basically definitely it is a two-way. Let me explain on the next slide, everyone. Might be it will be more clear to everyone. See, we said we have a art, right, and we have a communication. We have a communication, right? So what is the definition of the art, everyone? Art कहता है कि visualization बहुत important है. When you start to visualize anything, right? Number two, when we said imagination is also playing a very important role. Then we say skills are playing a very important and vital role in it. Then we say we have a tools, we have a techniques, we have a ideas, right? And we have a skill that I already mentioned on above. Okay, we have ideas, right? So how the communication is exactly working? The word like communication is showing the two bases of the communication, the non-verbal, right? And we have a verbal. Verbal when we are using, जिसे हम कहते हैं कि बोल कर किसी चीज को बताएं, when we expressing ourselves with our own loud voice, right? With the help of a voice. And this is somehow showing your body language, we can say that. And somehow showing your gestures. जो आपके हाव भाव हैं, the way you stand, कि भाई हमें नींद आ रही है तो हम कैसे खड़े रहेंगे, हमें अगर रेस्ट चाहिए तो हम कैसे, मतलब we are showing कि I'm feeling very tired. So this is somehow the representation of the gestures, right? Good morning, Tulsi. Surely देखते हैं. We will try to be launch as soon as possible. So what is the way of the communication, that how you can connect yourself? Communication is definitely also is dependent on the visualization. कि अगर आप कुछ बोलने वाले हैं तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि व्हाट यू आर विजुअलाइज एग्जैक्टली, राइट। थॉट प्रोसेस क्या है, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट टू एक्सप्रेसिंग योरसेल्फ, तो आपके दिमाग में जो है वही एक्सप्रेशन है। इफ आई एम गिविंग द एग्जांपल ऑफ अ ताजमहल, डेफिनेटली आपके दिमाग में इमेज क्रिएट होती है, definitely you can visualize yourself, you can show your imagination, the skill that you have already, the techniques, the tools, the ideas that we have already inside. We are representing ourselves with the help of the communication, and the communication is somehow representing the different art and forms. वो sculptures हो सकते हैं, sometimes they are statues, the stupas, we can say that, the inscriptions, we say that. We have numerous of the examples, and I think from the ancient, from the medieval, from the modern, I think we have a temple art से लेकर बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं. IVC में, इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन में, we have artifacts, we have a Sanchi stupas, we have inscriptions also, and definitely we have a temple art also. We have a Indo-Islamic art, we have a mosque, we have a sculptures, we have a statues, we have a artifacts that we found from excavations. We have a numerous and examples that we are expressing with our communication. कि अगर मैं ये कह रही हूँ, for example in the IVC we are completely, unfortunately we can say that, or we are still not able to decipher the script of the Harappan civilization. But how is it possible to know कि उन लोगों का अपना way of representation कैसा था? Definitely we will get to know if we have a very good idea about their economy, कि भाई वो इकोनॉमी कैसी थी. अगर हमने सील्स के ऊपर definitely देखा है कि लोगों ने बुलॉक कार्ट्स को लेकर, या फिर यहाँ पर ऑक्सिस को लेकर, या राइनोस तक की अगर इमेजेस अवेलेबल हैं, सो डेफिनेटली वी कैन कोरिलेटिंग द हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन, द पीपल, द मोर ओवर 90% ऑफ द पीपल completely dependent on the agriculture, and how definitely we can get the idea, surely we can get the idea with the help of the excavation, when the people expressing themselves, expressing their thoughts with the help of the communication, कि भाई हमने जंगली जानवरों को मारना है, that we found numbers of the, I think, evidences from the Bhimbetka, from MP. So we have a numerous of the examples that we completely representing ourselves with the help of the art and with the help of the communication. So which is showing the connectivity, which is showing the interdisciplinary approach. The we can say that the interlinkages that it is completely showing with the ideas and the feelings. कि भाई आपके अपने ideas क्या है, आपका अपना feeling क्या है, and definitely your expression is somehow showing in your ideas and your feelings, and we have a numerous of the example that I earlier explained you, right? So artists, we can say that the convey the ideas, go beyond the describing and telling anything. This is somehow the way of a communication. मैं बोलूँ आपको describe करना है कुछ, so how you can describe yourself with the verbal and the non-verbal gestures. एंड ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप क्या डिस्क्राइब भी कर रहे हैं. द वे यू डिस्क्राइबिंग, द वे यू इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग योरसेल्फ, द वे यू एक्सप्रेसिंग योर आइडियाज, द वे यू आर एक्सप्रेसिंग योर फीलिंग्स, it is somehow the part of the communication, and this is somehow the art. The way I am teaching, this is my art. The way you people are cooked something in your kitchen, this is something your art. This is somehow the the fascination about your work. ये सब कुछ भी हो सकता है. This is completely the full of definition of the art, everyone, right? Now, okay, I think these are the images of the Indus Valley civilization, and from the past 2 days I already given the sessions on the Indus Valley civilization, the art and architecture, how the civilization is exactly working, everyone. So I already explained about the priest, the importance of the priest. So इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन को हम पढ़ नहीं पाए अभी तक. वी डोंट हैव एनी वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन विद IVC, but definitely with the help of the images, surely we can convey our message with the another people, that Indus Valley civilization is such a world biggest oldest civilization, and how we got know everything when we found any of the evidences, the artifacts, the statues, the sculptures, the skeleton that we found from the Indus Valley civilization. So that's why we get to know एक gradual process जो हर चीज का होता है, कि भाई हमें पता चला कि अच्छा ऐसा ऐसा भी होता था, and how we can get to know the skills that we have, the culture of the Mesopotamia, which is showing the differentiation. In the yesterday's session I already mentioned the differentiation, that how the differentiation is exactly working in the Mesopotamia and the Harappan civilization, how we गॉट द एविडेंसेस, कि जब हमें पता चला कि भाई टाउन प्लानिंग तो थी, right? But Indus Valley civilization में definitely we don't have any controlled people, because we don't have any evidences of priest and the monarch system or the anarchy. But definitely when we're discussing about the Mesopotamian civilization, the Tigris River, and we have a the Vesta, we have a good evidence of Iranian scripture. So definitely we are started to correlating कि भाई अगर IVC में ऋग्वेदा बाद में लिखा गया है, तो definitely we have a very much good evidences in the then the west of Iran. We have another example of Mesopotamia. So definitely we can correlate the things with each other. And how we can correlate? Definitely we don't have any written evidences, but definitely we get to know the things with the help of the communication. कि लोगों को पता था कि भाई इसके जो इम्पोर्टेंस है, ऑक्स की जो इम्पोर्टेंस है, या फिर अगर आपने किसी आर्टिफैक्ट्स के ऊपर या पोट्री के ऊपर अगर इसको स्केच किया है, तो डेफिनेटली द बुलॉक एंड द बुलॉक कार्ट्स और द हम्प्ड बुल समवेयर प्लेइंग अ वेरी क्रूशियल रोल इन द पार्ट ऑफ द एग्रीकल्चर. And that's why we are sometimes not, I think several of the times that I mentioned in my lectures, that moreover 90% of the people in the Harappan civilization dependent completely on the agriculture. And how is it possible to do? Because we are looking for the the communication with the help of the trade and commerce. And how it has happened? It is completely happened with the help of the rivers, with the help of the Arabian Sea with the Mesopotamia, the Tigris River, and they both are connected with the definitely we can say that with the Egyptian civilization, the Nile River. This is somehow showing the complete scope of the communication and how it is helped with the help of the trade and commerce, and how trade and commerce is held there in the IBC or Mesopotamian or Egyptian civilization with the help of the communication. That's why we get the similar evidences in the Mesopotamia of a swastik that we found earlier in the IBC. So definitely these are somehow the way of art representation. This is the example. I think you people, if you heard something about the Upinderjit Kaur book, it is such a very famous book for ancient India. And this is a painting that you can definitely see behind me. This is the example of Marano's son, and this is somehow a very interesting picture of Ajanta caves, right? And this is somehow not only interesting picture, but this is a representation of the Buddhism, right? And Buddhism में कभी ऐसा नहीं कहा है कि that you representing महात्मा बुद्ध as a god, या भगवान महात्मा बुद्ध ने भी कभी नहीं कहा है. Even though Buddhism is completely against of the idol worship, but definitely whenever we're discussing about the different sects of Buddhism like Mahayana or Hinayan, definitely this type of the the we can say the description, we can say that the paintings that we saw in the Ajanta caves, definitely they are representing somewhere the religious sects like Buddhism in different aspects, right? And how different aspects whenever we are looking the the statues like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh in Ajanta caves, but on the same basis that we started to find out the the statues or the paintings like Mahatma Buddha representing as a god. So this is somehow very interesting part of the sect of the Mahayana. और how कैसे चला पता हमें, how we will get to know the things, कैसे चलेगा पता? With the help of the art, with the help of the sculptures, with the help of the paintings, right? Now, objectives. It is very important to discuss about the objectives, that how the objectives are exactly working. Objectives कह सकते हैं, you can say that aim क्या है, factors क्या है, and how the need क्या है. These are somehow the similar lines. कि अगर आप heading बनाना चाहें तो definitely you can make the headings on objectives. We can say the need as well, we can say the aim as well. So we have a numerous of the terminology that you can definitely use in the examination perspective, everyone. Objective of this course is learning important topics of the Indian art and culture. And what really we want to cover there, we want to cover about numerous of the parts of the we can say that the understanding, the keywords, the good approach, how you can write down a good answer writing and all these things. So this is somehow representing a very different aspects of a learning. कि आप learn करना चाहते हैं, but it is very important to understand the right way of choosing the approach, कि आपको किस approach से learn करना है. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि we have a good idea of that we have a good amount of knowledge of any of particular subject, for example in ancient, medieval or modern or art and culture or any current subject, but definitely sometimes we are going to be failed to representing the answer. Why it is happened? When we don't have any, the idea that how we can representing ourselves specifically while doing the answer writing. So definitely the understanding of the keywords, the while choosing or adapting the good approach, we can say that it is somehow showing the framework of your answer. कि आपको ये पता है कि भाई हमारे पास इतनी नॉलेज है, बट इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू फॉर्मेट द थिंग्स कि आप इसको इतने में खत्म करें. सो हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? दिस इज ऑल्सो आर्ट. हाउ इट इज आर्ट? बिकॉज दिस इज समहाउ एक्सप्रेसिंग योरसेल्फ कि हमें इतना पता है, बट माय विजुअलाइजेशन, माय इमेजिनेशन, माय आइडियाज, माय स्किल्स, everything is working in a very fine manner. And how it is working in a fine manner? When you start to choosing the format कि मुझे इस format में ही आंसर देना है और मुझे किसी format में आंसर नहीं देना है. Right now, see to what extent has the urban planning? I think in yesterday's session, everyone, I already mentioned every day basis I'm taking the session on art and culture, so I don't think so it's a big deal to understand everyone. And cultural, religious, social history, it is very important to representing everything. That आपको पता होना चाहिए कि चीजों को कैसे represent करना है. Write down the things in a points. Main body is very important. Conclusion is very important. Diagram is very important. If I have a very good idea, it is not important to showing himself or herself as the MF Hussain or Leonardo da Vinci. It is very important to show the examiner कि भाई मेरे को मैप बनाना आता है. I know where is the existence of the north, west or east and south. Right? Attempt the maximum questions, everyone. Read and understand the question carefully. It is very important to understand the question, that what the question exactly want to say. Question में पूछा क्या गया है, and how we will get to know, because it is the variety of the question. Sometimes the question directly asked on the examination. Sometimes the question is directly asked on the critical analysis. We can say the examination, elaboration, explanation, discussion. So you people get to know that what is the exact terminology of the meaning of the discussion. अगर आपसे पूछा गया है that you have to discuss about the role of the women empowerment in the modern India, discuss the line. So surely you have to be mentioned about, and you have to make yourself sure कि हमें यहाँ पर हर dimension को mention करना है. And again the point is going to be stagnant on the same point, that you have to be mentioned each and every dimension, the social, the economic, the cultural, the religious, the political, the administrative, and you have to try to be correlating your answer with the current affair. For example, in I think the past 2 or 3 days, I am already giving the example of Bilkis Bano and the victim. So this is all about the discussion of the part of interesting factors of any of the answer writing. And facts and figures is very important, so that it is very important to upgrade yourself. कि भाई अगर GER में केरला 2020 में सबसे ऊपर था, तो 21 और 22 में कौन है, राइट? अगर women empowerment के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आता है. So it is very important to get to know that how you can correlating everything with each other. And handwriting should be readable. It is not important कि भाई आप ऐसे लिख रहे हैं कि भाई बाकी 4 के सवाल के बाकी 6 के 6 छूट गए, ऐसा मत कीजिए. It is very important to maintaining the consistency while doing the answer writing. You have to be very much specific to giving the time, the particular amount that you want to spend on the questions. कि भाई मेरे को इतना करना है इतने टाइम में. So you have to make sure first of all, and your handwriting will be readable only. It doesn't mean that कि इतना अच्छा लिख दें कि पहले में इतना अच्छा लिखा, थर्ड क्वेश्चन समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. ऐसा नहीं करना है. It is very important to read. You have to express yourself, and your handwriting should be readable only. No need to सजा के लिखने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसा सब लोग बोलते हैं. So you try to avoid all these things. I think I already mentioned everyone. बहुत important है that answer writing is very important, everyone. And how you can do the answer writing? See, you can only do the answer writing, and the perfection is never ever come in one day. कि बच्चे पूछते हैं कि मैडम perfection नहीं आता है, कैसे करें? We don't know how to do the things. We don't know how to deal the question. But it is very important to ask yourself कि आपने कितना दिन practice किया है, how many days that you spending yourself to practicing the things. कि questions आपके पास हैं, you have everything, the sources that you have, the teachers that you have, the paid courses that you have, everything. But it is very important to give the time. It is very important to spend the time. And how is it possible? Only it is possible only with the part of the practice. And definitely practice makes you perfect later on. When you start to spending more and more time with your question, with your answers, the way you are attempting the things, it is very important to understand, everyone, that you cannot get the command of any of the subject or any of the things कि एक दिन में सब कुछ आपको आ जाएगा. You cannot learn everything in a single day. UPSC में we have a vast syllabus, so we will definitely take the time more over 1 year, 2 year. Some of the candidates take more or 3 or 4 attempts. So this is all about your learning acknowledgement कि आपको कितना समझ में आता है, right? So this is all about to understand that how much you understand the thing, and definitely practice करते रहेंगे तो the things going to be improved later on, right? Okay, so this is all about the everyone that how you can do the answer writing, how the art and architecture correlating with each other, how the literature is exactly working. So in this session we are going to attempt the things on the art and culture, everyone, how the art and culture is actually working, and we are just going to discuss everything in the concepts of the Gupta Empire. Right, the Gupta period in you can see the question first of all, what the question exactly want to say. See, Gupta age, art and culture. So in this session, everyone, I'm just going to explain about the Gupta age, the question that they asked on the Gupta age earlier in the mains perspective, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Now, you can see the question. I hope my screen is completely visible, everyone. The question they asked on the ancient India, it's noted that the achievement of the arts and architecture in science, religion, and philosophy. Comment. So whenever the question is asked on the comment, it doesn't mean that you're showing your biasness with the question, right? If they are directly asking the question on the rest of the parts like arts and the architecture, the sciences, so definitely simply you are just mentioning about few of the lines on the religion, on the science, on the art and the architecture, and definitely the achievements. And that's why similarly Gupta period is also considered as what the golden age. And why we are considering the golden age? So it is very important to understand the meaning कि हम इसे golden age के नाम से क्यों जानते हैं? What is the reason behind it? What are the factors behind it? Right? So in this session we will try to cover up all the the achievements of the Gupta Empire. And remember it, Gupta Empire was only the empire where the flourishness of the Hindu temples was extended on a very peak level. और इससे पहले we don't have any the existence of the temples. इससे पहले we have existence of the stupas, we have sculptures, we have inscriptions, but इससे पहले from the Gupta ages से पहले we don't have any evidences of the temple art and architecture. And definitely that's why we are just not only commenting that Gupta period is the period of the achievement, right? But you also mention that कि किसी चीज का अचीव कर लेना और उसको consistent रखना, there's a differentiation. So why the Gupta Empire was a decline later on? Why? Number one is the Gupta Empire was not completely handle everything. Gupta Empire is not handle the achievement of their own successors. और कह सकते हैं कि इतना ज्यादा उसने खुद को फ्यूडलिज्म को खुद पे हावी कर लिया कि चीजें खत्म हो गई एक टाइम के बाद से, राइट? So it is a very important to discuss about the architecture, the art form with the literature, we can say that. And Gupta Empire was not only the period of the achievement. Gupta Empire was also the period where you can not only see the achievement but also the release. We can say that release in the coins, the music, the painting, the sculpture, the art, the religion, and we have a numerous of the person. We have numerous of the designatory person. We can say the Kalidas, we have a Charak. So we have I think lots of the people in the Gupta Empire, they are representing the Gupta Empire is somewhere I think above from the golden age. Golden age so khatam ho gaya, but still we are remembering the name. That's why in the 21st century we are still considering Kalidas as the modern Shakespeare. So this is somehow the achievement of the Indian culture or Indian civilization, we can say that we found from the Gupta Empire, right? So I hope the question is completely clear, everyone. Now, art and architecture in the Gupta Empire, first of all, it is very important to understand that what we are really want to introduce in the question, right? What the approach that we are choosing in the question. This is the the image that you can see on the screen, everyone. This is the image that we taken from the Aaron inscription by Kumar Gupta in the Gupta Empire. And this is not the inscription, and this is the first inscription and evidence that we telling us about the sati evidences कि भाई गुप्ता एम्पायर में सती सिस्टम भी कभी न कभी एग्जिस्ट करता था. Right. So what is the approach of the question? How you can understand the question? And again, I'm telling you, it is a very important not only to understand the question, but you have to set a specific set format के आपको आंसर में क्या क्या लिखना है. That what really you want to express in your question, everyone. The first thing which is very important to understand, the introduce with the writing about the Gupta Empire and its expanse. Writing means what? About the Gupta's empire expansion. That how much the geographical expansion of the Gupta Empire existing in the 4th century BC, right? Discuss the achievements of the Gupta Empire in the fields of the art and architecture that I already explained you. The expansion of the temples. This was the first phase of the expansion of the temples. Sciences, we can say that we cannot forget about the name of Varamhi. Religion, definitely after Buddhism. Later on, the religion like Hinduism or the Brahmanism again on the peak, everyone. And philosophy, we cannot forget about the Charak Samhita. We cannot forget about the numerous of the Vedas we have. We have the literature of the Kalidas. So very numerous of the examples, everyone. And also discussion the social issues that emerged in the Indian period. So we have a numerous of the social issues. This was the period when we first time realized about the the hike, we can say that, or the peakness of the Orthodox people, right? That we have a numerous of the problems with the society. That we cannot forget about the status of the women. We cannot forget about the status of the lower or the upper class people. We cannot forget about the conflicts between the the Brahmins and the rest of the lower class people. So we have a numerous of the social issues. So it is a very important to understand the format. That what the format exactly want to say you, everyone, right? Okay. So everyone, it's a time for a break for 1 minute, and we will get back with the same question, with the same discussion. I hope just looking for your cooperation and your patience. So in the approaches, everyone, it is very important to mention about the introductions, right? So what we are going to discuss about in the approach. The question they are asking on the Gupta Empire. About what? Their achievements. Achievements on what? The social, the economic, the religion, the scientific, we can say that, and the philosophy. So what we are going to do, everyone, in the same. The first thing about the achievement, it is very important to check the approach. Right? Definitely, it is very important to check the approach of the question. Means the understanding. Or we can say the understand the question. It is very important to check the introduction. That how we can correlate the approach with the introduction, right? And how it is possible only. It is only possible with the numerous of the objectives. के introduction के बाद भी आपको कुछ लिखना पड़ेगा. So what you are going to introduce, everyone. What you are going to be introduced. The first thing about what? Introduce about the achievements, right? And the challenges, right? The achievements, we can say that. or we can say the golden age. And what about the challenges of the Gupta Empire? Right, so we are just going to discuss about the different factors, the important factors of society. So what are the challenges, everyone, in the Gupta Empire, specifically in the social aspects? The social challenges in the Gupta Empire. Right? Social challenges in Gupta Empire. The first thing is what? The first thing, the women condition. The women condition. Women condition is what? Women condition is definitely lack of education, right? Definitely related with lack of education, okay. Lack of social equality, right? And very important, right? The sati system, and definitely we can the social evils. Right, with the social sati and the sati system. And the number two, we have a caste system. The caste system. Brahmanism, we have another factor of the challenge in the caste system, and caste system means what? When we looking for Varna system. When we looking for the Varna system. So these are somehow the challenges that we can define with the social challenges in Gupta Empire, and this is somehow we can say the cause of the declining of the Gupta Empire. Right now. Art and architecture in Gupta Empire is basically the Gupta were Hindu kings, and the Hindu art and culture underwent resurgence in this phases, जहां पर दोबारा से चीजों को रीगेयर करने का मौका मिला. However, they were tolerant to the Buddhism and Jainism and contributed to the development of a monastery at a Bodh Gaya. Art and culture. So this, with this line, definitely everyone, you can just imagine the secularism, like the equal status to all religion. And art and culture indeed it reached its zenith during this period, which included Hindu, Buddhism, and Jain art. The mural painting of the Ajanta area contribution of this age, although earlier Satavahana and later the Vakatakas have also contributed it. The paintings include images of the Bodhisattva and the Jatkas. This is somehow a very important part of the discussion in the Gupta period, right? When they are completely giving the equal priority to all the religion. Either you belong from Jainism, either you belong from Buddhism, either you belong from the Satavahanas and the Vakatakas. They are also playing a very prominent role in it, right? Now you can see the map, everyone, on the screen. This map is playing a very crucial role while understanding, the expansion of the Gupta Empire from 320 to 550. From 320 to 550, and this is not only the part of the expansion, everyone. You can see that the whole of the expansion that you can check from the northwest region. from the northwest region. Right, from the northwest region, you can see the part of the upper Gangetic region. Upper Gangetic region. Right, and the rest of the part that then we will see in the lower Gangetic region. That we have a lower Gangetic region. So these are somehow the prominent part that we can see on the time of the Gupta Empire. Right, so that's why this map is very important. So for the understanding of the Western Kshatrapatas, we can say that we have a numerous of the examples. Everyone, Satvahana we have, Kadambas we have, right? Cholas we have, Gangas we have. So we have a numerous of the examples that the way we are correlating the expansion of the Gupta Empire. That earlier in the approach that we discussed with the first point, कि भाई expansion तो बताना ही है, that how the things are expanded actually. Now, introduction. The Gupta Empire stretched across the northern, central and the parts of the southern India between 320 to 550 that I already explained you everyone on the map. Right. The period is noted for its achievements, right? In the arts, we can say that, architecture, we can say that, science, religion and philosophy. So it is very important to discuss about the whole of the central, we can say the northern part, the central part, the Deccan phase, we can say, and the southern part. They're completely interlinked with each other. The central, we can say the northern and the southern part. Body governance. So it's a time for discussion on the, we can say, the polity. And it is also the part of the systemization. Systemization. Right? Governance, they ruled over extensive empire. They ruled over the extensive, the vast empire. The capital of a Patliputra, and maintain the unity and integrity of India, where they are showing the integrity with what? With whom? We can see the north, the south, the central part, the central and the south. Right? And the Gupta age witnessed political unification. So where we want to, make your political unification, political unity, everyone, of India after a long period of more than 500 years after the decline of the Mauryan. It means somehow after the time phase of 500 years, we are seeing the emergence of the Gupta Empire. But there is a differentiation. Differentiation with what? Differentiation when we seeing in the Mauryan Empire or the Gupta Empire. Mauryan Empire were completely existing, the whole of the part completely on the centralization. From the northwest to the Gangetic region, upper Gangetic region to the lower Gangetic region, to the rest of the Deccan phase, the central India, later on the southern part. Their whole of the unification or integrity in the Mauryan Empire is completely defining with the centralization. When the power is completely consolidated in the hand of the emperor or the king. But on the another basis, this is such a very great example. We can say that centralization is never ever, we can say that, defining in the somewhere the unification always. But Gupta Empire is also considering as a part of a decentralization, where still the unity, the unification and the diversity in the culture is still existing in the era of the Gupta Empire from 320 to 550 BC. So we can see the differentiation surely. And I think Gupta Empire was the last empire, last empire which is showing or representing themselves as the part of a decentralized empire. Otherwise, we really don't have any evidences of a decentralized system. Later on or earlier, कि भाई कुछ ऐसा system था जहाँ पर decentralization भी चलता था. Right? The efficiency of their martial system was well known. Martial system, when we're looking for the military system, then we have a cavalry, we have a navy, we have artillery, we have a weapons, we have a army, we have a foot army, we have numerous of the people, and how the king is completely showing their power. King is always liable to showing their power with the help of the weapons, with the help of the, we can say that, with the help of their own achievements. The large kingdom was divided into smaller pardesha, we can say the province, right? So what the what we are going to discuss? Gupta's empire, right? Gupta's empire, unity and unification, and unification, right? यहाँ पे I नहीं होगा, so right, unification. So how we can, first of all, it is very important to discuss the whole of the empire is a decentralized system. Which means power consolidated in hand of empire or the king, we can say that. Later on, just because of the decentralization, how the power is defining, how the power is defined, right? So how the power is defined? With army, with the trade. Army is providing you the security, and trade is what providing you? The tax, we can say that. The money, we can say that. Right? And how you can maintain your army? With the help of money. Right? So this is somehow the whole of the consolidation with Gupta's empire, unity and unification, the integration that we called. And how the unification is happened, everyone? Unification is existing with what? The part of a northwest region, the part of the the northwest region, the northern part we have a central part, right? We have southern, we have a Deccan part, or we can say the central India. So we have a numerous of the examples, everyone, right? You can see that, everyone, this is exactly the part of the Gupta Empire that you can see on the screen. This is the part of a Patliputra. This is the part of a Patliputra. Right, the Magad, we can say that. The Magda, and rest of the part that you can see on the screen, that is completely separated from here and here, the northwest region, the central India, the rest of the, we can say, the southwest part. This is completely the part of the Gupta Empire. The part of the Gupta Empire, which is completely क्या था ये? Consolidated, right? Patliputra, Ayodhya, they both are the capital cities. Right, Ayodhya and the Patliputra. What about the interdisciplinary approach, everyone? You can see on the screen. The Gandhara period is also flourished in the Gupta period, and this is somehow giving the great description of what? Giving the great description, the whole of the Gupta Empire on the art. The art of Buddhism. right? And this is somehow flourished not only Delhi, Mathura, Kabul, Kandahar, Afghanistan, West Afghanistan. This is the part of Shah Dheri, Hada, Takshila. This is a part of the expansion, we can say that. From the northwest region, we can say that. Okay. We have later on the upper Gangetic region. Right, we have upper Gangetic region. And we have already the lower Gangetic region. So you can see the expansion of the Gupta Empire, everyone, that how the Gupta Empire is exactly expanded, right? Now, economic prosperity. Gupta age was full of economic prosperity. According to the Chinese travel, Pahiyar, Magad, the power center of Gupta Empire, was full of cities and its rich people. And cities, where we are looking for the cities, where we have a markets. And if we have a market, so what is happened there? We have a market, we have a trade, we have a commerce, surely we have a taxation. Taxation is somehow the power of money. Right? Power of money to whom? The king. And the ancient India, Gupta issued the largest number of the gold coins were called dinars in their inscriptions. Gold coins, dinars in their own inscriptions. Gold and silver coins were issued in a great number, which is a general indicator of the health of the economy. Health of the economy. Gold and silver. So definitely we are very much aware, everyone, कि जितना ज्यादा आपकी इकोनॉमी में बेसिकली हेलो वानी गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन राइट, जितना ज्यादा आपकी अपनी इकोनॉमी में गोल्ड और सिल्वर का फ्लोरिशनेस ज्यादा होगा, उतना ही ज्यादा आपकी इकोनॉमी जो होगी रिच होगी. दे वांट टू एक्सप्रेस दैट. And what about the trade and commerce, everyone? Flourished in the both within the country and the outside. Whenever we're discussing about the cotton, silk cotton, the spices, that when we have a medicines, right? We have almost gemstones, pearl, precious metals, steels were exported by the sea. So this is somehow showing the connectivity with whom? Connectivity with the market. Connectivity with the market. Market to whom? For the common people. Right. So this is such a very great example. You can say that with economic prosperity. Religion. They were completely devoted to the Vaishnav themselves, yet they did not prevent the form being tolerated towards the belief of the Buddhism and the Jainism. Buddhism and the Jainism, and Vaishnava is a part of a devotees of a Lord Vishnu. Right? Lord Vishnu. Right? So this is somehow representing a different aspects of a literature and the art, everyone. And poet and playwright Kalidas created such a epics, we can say that we cannot forget about Abhigyan Shakuntalam, Malvikagni Mitram, Raghuvansham and Kumar Sambhava. Harishen composed Allahabad Prashasti, Shudrak wrote Mirchkatikam, Vishakhadat created Mudra Rakshas, and Vishnu Sharma penned down the Panch Tantra. So this is somehow a very relevant information in the part of the literature. When we're looking for the expansion, how they are expanded exactly in the form of the religion or in the form of the, we can say that in the literature. Now, cultural achievements of the Gupta dynasty, which is very important topic, everyone. Very important point, we can say that how the cultural achievement of the Gupta and dynasty is working exactly. See, Gupta Empire dynasty, Gupta rulers followed the Vedic religion. It is somehow the Hindu religion. Sakandagupta and Kumaragupta, one performed Ashwamedha Yajna. Ashwamedha Yajna, and renowned writers and poets, namely Kalidas, Abhigyan Shakuntalam, Raghuvansham, Shudrak, Mirchkatikam, present in Gupta period. Epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Manu Samhita, or we get the Manu Samriti, were composed in their present form in the Gupta period. So this is somehow a very relevant information that we are providing with the help of the Gupta Empire. And you can see the numerics of the picture, the rock cut temple, the coins, you can see that. And this is the Buddha's Mathura art. Right, Mathura art that they want to show. This is the image of the coins, everyone. I hope this is completely visible. This is somehow the image of the horse which is showing the Ashwamedha Yagya. And this is the lady which is depicted on the lady depicted on the image on the coin, everyone on the screen is somehow depicting the measurement of the agriculture is playing a very crucial role in it. The Gupta Golden Era, 325 to 550 BC. We have a numerics of the expansion, everyone, that you can surely see on the screen, that how the expansion is going on. The first thing, advances in maths, including the discovery of the pi and infinity and the first uses of zero. Right, when you're discussing about the expansion in maths, right, you can see the examples. The next fact about the iron pillar located in Delhi, built about the 410 AD, has yet to be wear down. So this is somehow calling very important part of the expansion, which is known as a Mehroli pillar. Now, the fact that Earth revolved around the sun was discovered. The cause of the solar lunar eclipse were also discovered. Right, so this is somehow the advancement in the scientific aspects, we can say that. And the Buddhist temples that were created the Gupta Golden Era still around today. So, so many Hindu temples that we have a expansion of the temple art. So what we have a Nagar, we have a Dravidian, we have a Vesar, right, and we have already numerous of the temples that we have. Copper coins were used in the empire for whom? At daily basis or for common people. Kalidas was one of the greatest poet and dramatists, we can say that by Sanskrit language, everyone. Vani, I'm not getting your question actually. You can mention your question in Hindi as well. There is no issues at all, Vani. Kalidas, the works of Kalidas, we cannot forget about Abhigyan Shakuntalam. We cannot forget about, we have a Kubar Sambhava. We have numerous of the literatures that we done by Kalidas in the Gupta period. And the Ajanta caves tell the story of a Buddha's from 200 to 650 BC carved drawing. So this is somehow a very, we can say, the vast achievement of the Gupta Empire, not only the maths, but science, the literature, the philosophy, the art and culture, and the representation of the Hinduism. Okay, I already mentioned about the Satvahana period, everyone. This is somehow the, part of a discussion that how the role of a Satvahana is exactly matters a lot in the Gupta period. Science and technology, Varamihira wrote Briha Sahita and also contributed to the field of astronomy and astrology. And genius mathematician astronomer Aryabhatta wrote Surya Siddhant, which covered several aspects of the geometry, trigonometry, and cosmology. Shanku devoted himself to creating text about geography, so that we have to understand the geographical extent of any of the country. This is such a very important, we can say, the example of it. Science and technology, we can say the metallurgy, everyone. Science of working with metals. Indian iron valued the hardness, purity. Iron pillar is resistant to rust. Mathematics, most advanced mathematicians developed modern maths. The system of zero, the system of pi, the Hindu-Arabic number created. Indian brought to be European by Arabs. And medical sciences, so made medical from plants, amount of viruses, protect against the diseases, surgery, repair. So we cannot forget the name of a Charak Samhita. By whom? By Charak. Right, so this is somehow very great achievement that we can see in the Gupta phases if you want. Architecture, the Gupta age craftsmen distinguished exactly themselves by their work in the iron and the bronze. For example, iron pillar found at Mehrauli in Delhi, manufacturing in the 4th century AD, has got gathered and rust over the subsequent 5th century, which is the greatest tribute to the technology skill of the craftsman, right? And definitely, the finest example of a painting, sculpture, and architecture of the period can be found in Ajanta, Ellora, and Sarnath, Mathura, Anuradhapuram, and the surely Shikriya. So this is somehow a very important prominent art and architecture that you can see on the screen about the pillar of Mehrauli, which is somehow very prominent examples for us. Social degradation during the period. However, it is should be noted that the Gupta age did not witness progress in social development. For example, we have a number of chandalas, because we have a social discrimination there. We are where we are not going to accept the social equal status in the whole of the part. And the finest example of Sati occurred during the Gupta period in 510. Aaron inscription. And what about the conclusion, everyone? See, whenever we're discussing about the conclusion, however, the golden character of a Gupta age can be accepted only in degree, not in absolute terms. Right? And the Gupta age began a period of overall prosperity and growth that continued for the next 2.5 centuries, which came to be known as the golden age in the Indian history. Right? Where we are looking for the expansion, not only the science but technology, we can say the culture, the society, the literature, the philosophy, and that's why Gupta is representing somewhere in a very different aspects of different aspects of discussions. However, it should be noted that Gupta did not witness progress in social development. For example, number of the chandalas that I already explained you, his first example of Sati occurred during the Gupta period 510 AD, and Gupta age can be accepted only in the degree, not in the absolute terms. This is the Aaron inscription, everyone, by Kumar Gupta I, and this is the somehow the example of a Mathura art of Buddhism. Mathura art of Buddhism. Right, so this is such a very great example. Money buffer हो रहा है. See, there is a problem of buffering from not from my side, everyone. So in the question, let me discuss the overall approach of Gupta Empire. और क्या करना था इस क्वेश्चन में हमें? We want to discuss or comment. Right. So what we did actually in the same question. First of all, we are just going to discuss about the approaches, everyone. Right? The approaches that we can say that. The introduction, choosing the keywords, understanding the question, later on the conclusion. So we have a numbers of the diversion, I feel so. The first thing, Gupta Empire their social status is what? Inequality. With whom? With the women, with the caste system. Right? The administration and the political achievement only happens with what? They both are happened. They both are just happened with the help of the army, the ministries, and the people who can completely handle all these things. Economy surely looking for the taxation, trade and commerce. Taxation with what? With the help of agriculture. Right. पानी जी इंग्लिश में बेस बनाने के लिए it is very important to discuss the things and try to be study the things in English. Only then you can make yourself feel succeeded to make the basis. Okay, Vani, I hope this is clear to you. Now, in the next session, everyone, we are just going to discuss about the architecture of Delhi Sultanate, that how the architecture of Delhi Sultanate is exactly working. How the architecture of Delhi Sultanate is exactly working. First of all, you can see the question, everyone. The provincial style of architecture during the Delhi Sultanate period was greatly influenced by Indo-Islamic style. Right, Indo-Islamic style. So what we are going to discuss about the provincial style. Provincial style. See, as we know that history of art about the painting and the sculptures, visual arts, painting and sculpture, the architecture, the theory, the performing arts, literary arts, these are such a very important points where whenever we're discussing about the art and architecture and the other things. Art doesn't mean that we are looking for the comparison with the Western art and the Indian art. It is looking about the skill, we can say the mastery, the intervenence, association, techniques that we can say, that the ideas, the beliefs, the behavior that we have. You can see the numerous of the pictures that Mona Lisa, and we have a numbers of the picture that we are going to be. ठीक है वानी. So this is all about this. This is all about the expression of the art and architecture. The way we are expressing the things, the way we are using the techniques, your beliefs, your behavior, your ideas, your skills, your techniques, all are going to be expressive and showing the communication with the art and culture, with the art and culture, and with the communicate with your art and culture. So definitely this is somehow very important part of the discussion in the part of Indo-Islamic era. So what is art exactly, everyone? Which I already explained you, which is a monument glorifying a wealthy Renaissance, pop or a stone age, that we can say that. So it is somehow expression by the humans. Expression by the human. And this is somehow the iconography, we can say that. And this is somehow the iconology. Iconography, when we are looking for the description, when we start to describe anything. And this is looking for the branches. right? And this is the ideas and the feelings, everyone, that how it is going to be completely correlating with each other, that how your ideas and how your feelings is completely correlating, right? So what is happening there? Communication, it means that when you start to express your behavior, your ideas, your skill, your techniques, with whom? With your feeling and with your ideas, and how it is completely correlating with the help of the expression, and how the expression is modified in the form of a mask, sculpture, in the statue, in the painting. This is completely up to you, everyone. Now, Indo-Islamic art is basically traders and the merchants, everyone. Islam came to India by the traders and the merchants, surely. 13th century, or the Turkish Sultanate, some of the popular features of the time was the trabecations, the brackets, the multiple pillars of the support, then the flat roof that you can see on the screen, everyone. This is considering as a flat roof, and this is considered as the brackets. Right, so this is somehow the example of the Indo-Islamic art. Muslims development religion in art and architecture consisting art of Arbakis, we can say that, and mosque, tomb, dargahs. These are somehow very important features of the Indo-Islamic art, and definitely the imperial style. Whenever we're discussing about the imperial style, the provincial style, the Mughal style, and the Deccan style. Imperial style is basically whenever we're discussing about the Mughal and the Sultanate era. Provincial, again the Sultanate era, the Mughal style, whenever discussing about different parts. Deccan, when we have a Golconda, we have a Vijayanagar, we have a Bahmani. We have a Deccan style where we are defining the structure in a very different basis, the monuments that we have. Now, the imperial style of Delhi Sultanate, everyone, the provincial style of Mandu, Gujarat, and the Bengal. And this is such a very important part of the discussion, that how the things are completely correlating with each other. Right, and the Mughal style of Delhi, Agra, and Lahore, the Deccan style of Bijapur, Golconda, and the initial style of architecture that particularly in the 13th and the 14th century had only certain elements of the Islamic style. The Islamic structure borrowed a number of the Indian features and relied in the local craftsmen. The such influence are seen in the imperial style and architecture in the early Delhi Sultanate period. Right, Kuwait of Islam, Mosque, Delhi Sultanate, Rise in Chopra, that we have a numerous of the examples that we are just going to be, describing in the further slides, everyone. So how your Indo-Islamic architecture is exactly working, you can see on the screen, everyone, about the provincial art and architecture, that how the provincial art and architecture is exactly working in the same pace or same basis. The imperial style of a Delhi Sultanate, the provincial style of a Mandu, Gujarat, and the rest of the part of a Bengal, this is somehow playing a very prominent role in it. How the prominent role, that we can say that the initial style of architecture, particularly in the 13th and the 14th century. Certain elements of Islamic style, right? And thus the Islamic structure borrowed a number of the Indian features that relied on the local craftsmen, such that influenced the scene in the imperial style, and how it is completely, compatible with each other. If I'm giving the example of Quwwat of Islam, and this is the first evidence of the mosque that we found in the Delhi Sultanate. Now, so what the approaches that we are going to be choose? The question is directly asked on the imperialism. Substantial the given statement with the, we can say, the help of the relevant examples, and also cite a few examples suggesting the non-religious nature of the art and architectural remains from the ancient and the medieval India. Right, so in this session we are going to discussing about the approach, that how the approach is exactly working, everyone. Okay, that how the relevant example substantial the given the statement, the help of the relevant examples, and also we are going to discuss about the architectural remains, that how the architectural remains is working there. Suggestions in non-religious parts. Introduction. Art is the expression of the human creative skills resulting in the production of painting, the sculpture of architecture, and the development of art and the form, that how the development of art and form, advancement of the society and mindset of the belief of the people. We said the advancement of the society, how the advancement of society is working actually. The advancement of the society is only working with your ideological, philosophical part of expression, that the way we are expressing the things, the way we are doing the things, right? So this is somehow playing a very crucial and very important role in it. You can see the further examples, everyone, on the screen, that how the things are completely correlating. You can see the vibrant colors and the Pitradua schemes of the Mughal era. This is somehow very prominent part. This is the another example of a Jami Masjid that you can see on the screen. And this is Qutub Minar, iron pillar, tomb of Al-Qutub. This is somehow the different examples of the Delhi Sultanate. This is somehow very prominent part of interest. And with changing time, better architectural of religion and social cultural belief, develop the reflection of we can say the contemporaneous and the forms. There's the prehistorical forms, that we have a very good example of Bhimbetka, the rock cut temples, everyone, that where we are trying to be correlating with both with each other. You can see the examples, everyone. Ancient Indian architecture, cave architecture, Chalukya, Pallava, Chola, Pandyas. The Chola, the Pandyas, the architecture, the iconography, that we have a numerous of the parts. That whenever we're discussing about the form of the architecture, that how it is completely, bifurcated with each other. So surely we have a numerous of the example, that we have a cave, we have a architecture, we have a monolithic, we have a Chalukyas, we have a Cholas. So we have a different parts of the discussion, that how the things are completely interlinked with each other. Later, the animistic religious belief, that you can see on the screen, everyone, that we found from Indus Valley civilization. This is the another example of a mother goddess. Right? This is another example of mother goddess that we found in the Mohenjo-daro, in the Harappan civilization. Passage time and the emergence of the Brahmanism and the Buddhism and the Jainism, that surely we cannot forget about the relevance of the religion. The extension, or we can say in the emergence of the religion, is completely correlating with each other. And more religions, art form of Ajanta cave, the painting, the Dashavatar temple, these are also a part of the most prominent examples of the सल्तनत एरा. ऐसा नहीं था कि एक ही जो पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल है, चीजें हैं वहां तक रुकी हुई हैं. वी हैव a numerous of the examples that we completely interlinked and correlating with each other. Right. So what about the Buddhism, everyone? That how we can correlating the word Buddhism. See, Buddhism is exactly working with he taught the Four Noble Path. We can see that the good mindset, the awareness, we can say that developed wisdom, the understanding, and definitely taught the five path of the understanding. That how the way we are completely understanding the philosophy of Buddhism. That religion, what the meaning of religion is actually saying. कि religion है क्या दरअसल. See, whenever we're discussing about the Buddhism religion, Buddhism never considering that कि भाई मुझे यहाँ पर that you start to considering me as a god, right? So how it is possible to not considering as a god? because definitely Buddhism is somehow giving the appropriate example and definition of it, that how the things are connected with each other. The four noble truths, when we're discussing about the thought, lead a moral life, mindful and aware of the thoughts and the actions, develop wisdom, understanding. He also taught the five, we can see the perception that we have. So this is such a very important part of the discussion, everyone. And he also taught the noble eightfold path. He taught the four noble path, which some of the Buddhism religion. So this is also part of the the discussion, that how the numerous religion in the Sultanate era, the we can say the Buddhism, the Jainism, and the Hinduism, we have a numerous part of the discussion, that how the things are completely correlating with each other, and how the Buddhism is completely playing a very crucial and important role in the Buddhism. You can see the the differentiation. Now, the Jainism and the Buddhism did not attack on caste system, but surely attack on the caste system, everyone. Jainism somehow showing the sympathy with the Hinduism, and Brahmana priest believed that all objects, animate and inanimate, had souls, possessed a very degree to consciousness. कि आपका किसी भी चीज को कॉन्शियस होके करना या उसको कर ले जाना, ये ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. Does not scribe life of inanimate and objects, believe in a आत्मा और the known soul, कि आपका जो आत्मा है और जो आपकी सोल है उसको लेकर आगे बढ़ना. So this is somehow very, we can say, the prominent example of a architecture, that we have a numerous of the example, but the examples are never ever conflicted with each other. That we are respecting the philosophy of Buddhism, that we also respecting the philosophy of the Jainism, and the philosophy is somehow creating the social aspects and the feeling of expression of the people. And on the next image, I would like to show you the image, everyone, that you can see on the screen. This is the Ajanta cave that you can see on the Rocker temple, everyone, and this is somehow showing the images of the Mahavira, that you can definitely see with the help of the art and culture, that how the things are completely expressive, everyone, showing the expression of anything, right? And this is the next example of Mahavira, which is showing in Karnataka, Shravana Belugola. This was the first place, we can say that, for Chandragupta Maurya, where he completely spent his life with the Sanlekhana principles, or we can say the method or vidhi, where he completely lived their life, and they decided to devoting himself for the people. Later on in the medieval India, under the patronage, we can say that, of Delhi Sultanate, tomb as mosque emerged, and the Delhi Sultanate and their rest of the monuments is completely defining themselves as a very defining and interlinked linkages with each other. We have a next examples of it, that how the things are completely correlating. Monuments made by Sultanate. So we have a numerous of the monuments constructed in the period Sultanate era. Minar, we have a Tughlaqabad fort, we have Alai Darwaja, we have a Jamaat Khan Masjid, Ghiatuddin Tughlaq tomb, Hazrat Nizamuddin Dargah, Aulia. We have a different and numerous of the examples, everyone. See, Qutub Minar is somehow not only the prominent part of the historical perspective of a discussion, but surely it is also Arabic inscription, UNESCO World Heritage Site, started by Qutbuddin Aibak, right, finished by Iltutmish, and later on repaired by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So we have a numerous of the examples, everyone. A grand gateway, that we can say that the grand gateway is also very important part, completely correlating with Alauddin Khilji and the Khilji dynasty. Part of Alauddin Khilji, extension of the fourth Islam mosque, and this is such a very interesting part of the discussion. Remarkable artisanship, Turkish and the local artisan who worked on it. You can see that, everyone, a very important part that you can see on the screen, which is completely showing the grand gateway for the Alai Darwaza, which is showing a different, we can say, the next image, next level of a Sultanate architecture, that how the architecture is completely devoting for the beautiness of the architecture. You can see 27 Hindus and Jain temples. Right, they are completely influenced by it, and this is such a very nice information for Alai Darwaza. Quwwat Islam is in 1198, and Qutbuddin Aibak ने उसको बनवाया later on. And Qutbuddin Aibak recorded his inscription on the main eastern gate. So this is somehow a very prominent example, or we can say that the evidence of the Sultanate era. And nevertheless, it must also be noted that non-religious or secular forms. Non-religious means when we're looking for the monuments, the statue, the stupas, and we don't think so that there is any non-religious perspective, that there is any comparability in the कि भाई यहाँ पर अलाई दरवाजा कुछ religious बातों के बारे में बता रहा है. No, some of the emperors just releasing or established or founded anything just because for their own sake of the profit. For example, the seals, the terracotta toys, that we cannot forget about the examples of Indus Valley civilization, that how the Indus Valley civilization is completely connected with each other, and this is somehow showing the connectivity with still the 21st century, that how the trade and how the commerce and how the the we can say that the art and architecture completely correlating with each other. The importance is that we are facing. Potential meaning of a secularism, being unrelated with the religion, when we don't said that we don't have any religion, and worldly practical है, non-religious, being irreligious, secular also justified in non-religious perspective. So this is somehow very important part of our discussion. I feel so. We have a next examples, everyone, that you can see on the screen. That how the Dholavira, the Harappa, and the city of the Ran of Kutch in Gujarat, how it is giving the rest of the example, that the South Asia dating from 3rd to 2nd millennium BC, and the site comprised by the two parts of the walled city and cemetery, we can say that, to the west city or to the east city. Discovered in 1968, apart from the unique characterization management system, that we can definitely see that Dholavira was the reason where it is completely bifurcated in two sections. Treasure of civilization, why it is called? Because survey indicates the presence of the Harappan reservoir. ASI, that huge lake, and located beneath the eastern reservoir Dholavira. An archaeological excavation tank. So this is somehow very prominent example of the discussions, everyone, which is showing earlier on the screen. Similarity, the patronage provided by the rulers of the society, the type of the art and gets developed. Ashokan edicts, whose form is content was the large non-religious during the Sultanate period. Architecture like tombs and mosques is somehow giving the very good example of it, that how the things are completely connected and correlating with each other. So whenever we're discussing about the modern empire, we cannot forget about the policies like Dhamma, like the Ashoka's ruler, that we can say that, meaning the ideal performance of the social role into which one is born. Variation, we can say the Dhamma, it is completely known as the Dharma. We can say the duties, right? Ashoka used this effort to the virtue of the social as well as the individual. Individual means when we're looking for the self-development. The self-development, and social, why it is social? Social because looking for the equal social status. Equal social status, right? You can see the separateness of the Ashoka. This is the different art and architecture that you can see on the screen, where Ashoka is defining himself as a part of not only the interest, but surely this Ashoka it is representing as a somehow the lump sum group of the people, where he is representing himself as a king, right? After leaving the war of Kalinga, still he is just looking for the people or sympathize the people कि ठीक है, if I don't want to ready to fight, so you are not ready to provoke me. अगर ऐसा होता है तो भी मैं war करने के लिए पीछे नहीं हटूंगा. And this is somehow a very good example of it that you can see on the screen. And Ashoka's inscription and Ashoka's Dhamma is reconstructed the basis of the inscription, right? And external, we can say that the external, when we're looking for the external reformation and the domestic policies, right? Domestic policies when we're looking for the internal improvement, and Dhamma and the extent of the empire. Remarkable document describing the ambitions of his time. Inscription like Brahmani, we have a Kharoshti, Prakritic, Aramaic, Greek, till the time of West Afghanistan, that James Princip tried to read out all these inscriptions and try to define the whole of the modern empire in very different aspects. Ashoka's policy of Dhamma is basically the Prakritic form of a Sanskrit word. Dhamma, Ashoka tried to be used in much wider senses. An individual, we can surely say that individual for self-improvement and social for the social status equality, and accepted the people belonging to any religion and sect, that how the religion and the sect is completely correlating everyone with each other. Sanchi, that you can see the different art form, Likewise, Akbar's period witnessed art and architecture of the religion, and the Mughal painting is highlighting the same feature of the depicted religion themes in terms of the royal patronage and the natural beauty, that how the things are completely correlating with each other, that it is somehow representing is what This is somehow showing the correlation and the representation with each other. That how the Akbar's period, we have a very good example of a Fatehpur Sikri, everyone, and the patronage and the natural beauty, that you can see the religious themes is completely showing the correlation with each other, how the things are exactly working with each other. Okay, Mughal paintings that we have, everyone, that you can see on the screen, the Akbar and the rest of the part. See, one thing which I would like to mention then about the NCERT mantra batch, everyone. And this NCERT mantra batch have numerous of the features that you can see on the screen. And this mantra batch is not only providing you the broad concept and learning aspects of the the basic concepts of the NCERT, but specifically the basic and the understanding of the NCERT, the practice workbook that they are providing you, everyday life classes that will be held. NCERT's NCERT classes is full of the 3D presentations that you can see, daily class PDFs that you will get. If you're looking for the importance and the objectives, so surely the NCERT batch is never ever limited till the time phase of the limitations. कितना ही आपको पढ़ाना है. Surely it is defining somewhere the extra benefits, right? Where we are looking that all the questions that we are marking is representing the things in very different aspects, where you can connect yourself. You can just choose your topic, that whatever the problems that you have, you can connect with us with the Zoom meeting, and you have a very much ensure yourself that the course is going to be end up on the time. You are getting the PDF of more over 1200 plus MCQs, where you can practice yourself later on. Surely you can get the live classes, the class PDFs, day-wise study plan, everyone. And the class start date is 19th August, so course is already running, everyone. 20th June of 2023 is going to be end this course, so you can join the session as soon as possible. We have Polity, Geography, Science, History and Economics by Vipin sir, Vipin sir by Geography, Jubair sir by Science, Amarendra sir by History, and Sujit sir by Economics. So we have a numerous of the objectives, everyone. That is going to be fulfilled in a very few days, in a very minimal charges, I feel. Right, so how you can register? So simply you can just download the app, Exampur preparation app, with the help of a Play Store. You can register yourself with your email ID with the phone number. Later on, you just go ahead with the courses, choose your paid batch, and you can just log in with NCERT 50 so that you can get the discount of 50%, and you can just pay, purchase the course with any of the UPI, Google Pay, Phone Pay, and you can use your card. And surely, when your payment is going to be successful, you can join the demo classes if the students have any doubt that how the classes formats are going on, how the things are going on. So surely you can just go ahead on the app. You can check the demo classes, everyone, that how the demo classes is exactly going on. And we can only make sure, everyone, this course is completely helpful for the students who are just looking for the government exam as a dream, and definitely are potential teachers. Vani, which book you are asking for? Okay, so if you are if you will feel yourself very satisfied, so surely you can just go ahead with the demo classes, and you can attend the live session which is held on the given timetable or mentioned plans on the app, everyone. So this is such a very interesting and very important part of the discussion, and very important initiative by the Exampur is taking for the students. Those are not very much feeling affordable to do all these things, to purchasing all these things. Okay, so Mughal paintings that we are doing, generally made as a miniature, and a Mughal painting evolved in the Persian school miniature, everyone. Buddhism and Jainism influence a lot because we have a mural painting completely correlating with Jainism and Buddhism. Rule of various Mughal emperors in India, that we have a Babur completely dependent on the Charbagh Parampara. We have a Humayun, we have a Jahangir, where the people, they are completely try to be make the things more polished, specifically in the paintings. And we have a Shah Jahan, we're looking for the Sangmarmar. We have a numerous of the monuments, we have a buildings as well. Akbar, we have. So tall tales of the Mughal Empire. The popular, we can say that the eventually made the other Indian courts as well. Albert Museum in London House is somehow showing the expensive, we can say the impressive paintings of the Mughal Empire. And under this reign, the Mughal painting world developed a rapid pace, where the Mughal paintings and establishment of the different monuments is founded in numerous of the places, and particularly about the details and the artisans elements involved on every day basis. The second major project, we can say that the commissioned by Akbar was Hamza Nama, and the 1400 Mughal paintings that we have later on, 30 primary artisans that we have, and the replaced by the Abdul Samad, Amir Sayyid and Ali, and we have numerous of the painters that we have. And besides several domestic items, everyone, the metals, the iron, the bronze, the silver, and the gold, that we have numerous of the the things that we can that definitely connected with each other. That how the things are completely important as per the survival as the survival of the Mughal emperor. Thus, definitely the art and the architecture form of ancient and the medieval India, right, never confined themselves only to the marking of the, we can say the mammoth buildings of the religion places through it contributed the most. So this is such a very important and interesting factor, that you can see the image as well, everyone, on the screen, that how the images are completely expressive, showing their expressiveness. Right, the making of the member of the buildings of the religious places, though it contributed the most. So this is somehow very interesting factor of it. That how the way we are showing and the correlation that we are showing with the provincial, the sultanate, the Deccan, and the rest of the numerous of the parts of the India. Okay, so I already explained you, everyone, about it. So this is all about the session, everyone, and surely we will meet at 12:30, and where we are going to discuss about the numerous of the rest of the parts. Rest of the parts of the discussion of the Mughal Empire, and we will try to be continue the session with the same pace of the Mughal painting, which is somehow very important part of the discussion. So don't forget to join me at sharp 11, sharp 12:30 after hour. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this session is completely helpful and authentic, capable everyone. Thank you so much for joining me.